We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal.
One thing that resonates with me about Martin Luther King is that he doesn't fight fire with fire, and he is very, very humble. He is gracious, and he helped out a lot of people in this world, especially with the nonviolence movement. And he was a really big figure in my household too, and in my personal life, because a lot of us growing up in America didn't actually have that much rights growing up, especially back then in their times. And so him just being able to be that voice and having everybody recognize him as a big figure meant a lot to us. And all of the changes that he's also made that came from his movement is like really great. And probably there might have been parts of the civil rights movements there might have been parts that happened in the civil rights movements that are still going on right now if it wasn't for Dr. King and his movement.
One reason why I didn't participate in the Martin Luther King movement, in fact, I actually started seeing it pan out when I was actually in junior high school. So by high school, my thought was that it would be totally impossible for me not to hit back at somebody that is hitting me, to be able to be that nonviolent. And I have to give my hat off to all the brave and great people that did that.
Wow. How Dr. King affected my everyday life. I don't know that I can find the words to completely express what that looks like.
One of the greatest marches that I ever done was the MLK March, and that happened in Seattle, 2013. It was so big that I decided to take my siblings with, because I felt like they needed to see and be a part of this march, because the children are the future, and so it was great that I took them with me. And that march started all the way from the Central District and went through Capitol Hill and went all the way down to downtown Seattle. And it just brought so much people together. Like, you've seen all kinds of various races just coming together, marching for change, you know, trying to make this country a better place. And also, I'm sure you guys heard of the $15 an hour movement. That was really big in Seattle too, and so the MLK March really helped push that. And yeah, I'm thankful for MLK, and I'm thankful for this country, and we still got a lot of work to do.
Who he was and the message he gave to me and other people was not just a message of hope, but an example to pattern yourself after. An example of self-love, of determination, of compassion towards others, of organization, of leadership. All those things he was an example of. And from young, I can remember in elementary school writing papers about him, and seeing movies about him, and understanding the power that he used from within himself to uplift his culture. Give us a platform to stand on to express the lives that we were having and the vision that we should be going towards.
With this faith, we will be able to transform the jangling discords of our nation into a beautiful symphony of brotherhood. With this faith, we will be able to work together, to pray together, to struggle together, to go to jail together, to stand up for freedom together, knowing that we will be free one day.
And that actually spearheaded things in the East as well, because even though it may not have been Jim Crow as bad as down south, there were places like people couldn't get certain jobs. People couldn't live in certain neighborhoods. And those type of things that was going on in the East.
I have a dream that my 4 little children will one day live in a nation where they will not be judged by the color of their skin, but by the content of their character.
When I went to junior high school, I had to go through a white neighborhood. But when I would walk home, if I was by myself, I came in contact with white people that would call me nigger. And they would say it so violently, it was very scary. They would run after me, actually, hollering nigger, and I would just walk very fast and try to get home away from them.
I have a dream that one day, down in Alabama, with its vicious racists, with its governor having his lips dripping with the words of interposition and nullification, one day right there in Alabama, little black boys and black girls will be able to join hands with little white boys and white girls as sisters and brothers.
So I felt as though to be able to have protests because you had to sit in the back of a bus was necessary. To protest about your schools not being as great or as good as other schools because of your skin color, instead of the fact that the taxes that you're paying may not be enough. It was more than that. It was the fact that you were paying taxes and nobody was doing anything for you.
All we say to America is be true to what you said on paper. If I lived in China or even...
Just keep going, you know, whether you're African American or allies or whomever you are, keep going, keep bringing awareness. Don't stop your life, but keep watching your back. Bottom line.
If I lived in China or even Russia or any totalitarian country, maybe I could understand some of these illegal injunctions. Maybe I could understand the denial of certain basic First Amendment privileges because they haven't committed themselves to that over there. But somewhere I read of the freedom of assembly. Somewhere I read of the freedom of speech. Somewhere I read of the freedom of press. Somewhere I read that the greatness of America is the right to protest far right. So just as I say, we aren't going to let any dog or water hoses turn us around, we aren't going to let any injunction turn us around. Well, I don't know what will happen now. We've got some difficult days ahead. But it really doesn't matter with me now, because I've been to the mountaintop. I don't mind. Like anybody, I would like to live a long life. Longevity has its place. But I'm not concerned about that now. I just want to do God's will. And He's allowed me to go up to the mountain. And I've looked over and I've seen the promised land. I may not get there with you, but I want you to know tonight